Okay, does Deion Sanders' contract help Shador Sanders in the draft? I think it depends on where he goes. I think it depends on who's drafting him.
Coach Prime staying put, agreeing today to a 5-year, $54 million deal to stay in Boulder. Your immediate reaction?
I think it's great for Deion and deserved, and I also think it's good for Sheduer.
Interesting.
Because I think if there were teams who were worried, can our coach handle the specter of Deion, or coaches that were worried, man, if I advocate for Sheduer, could Deion, swoop in? This certainly, it doesn't make that 0%,
Right.
but this certainly makes it less likely. And I also think that it validates that there was real stake to all the sizzle that he's done at Colorado. You know what I mean? And so I think I was skeptical of them this year. Last year, it was they were a horrible team before he got there, and I thought last year winning 4 games was an accomplishment, or 2 years ago. This year, after I watched the first couple games, I'm like, a lot of those same problems I think are going to pop up, and I think when they play real Power 5 teams, they're going to get cooked, and they were really good. They weren't great, they were really good. So I think he deserves it, and I think it's, as an added bonus, good for his son's draft prospects.
No, I agree with all that. I'm happy for Deion. There's a part of me, I was into the idea of Deion being in the NFL. I was into the idea of him going to the Cowboys. I thought that would be
Are you
great.
sure that's dead?
Well, like Nick said, it could happen at some point, but this does make it a little less likely. I would even go into Florida State, obviously where he played, more of a blue blood type program, a traditional power. But look, with the NIL
and with the transfer
portal,
yeah,
he can do that in Colorado. We see a lot of teams, that aren't traditional powers playing big ball.
Push back on you for a second before we get to Greg? Because I was talking to Dusty about this. Kalen DeBoer went from Washington to Alabama because the Alabama job opened up. He was signed in Washington until 2028.
No, we
there.
know this.
These
yeah,
are kind of written in pencil.
Mm-hmm. They absolutely.
Oh yeah, no, yes. I think it's probably, though, because of this, more likely to go to another college team than a pro team.
I love the idea that he's staying in college. The impact that he's having on young men, the opportunity that they get to absorb knowledge from somebody who's done it, the notoriety that they get that comes with Deion being your head coach. I love all of that. As far as Sheduer is concerned, I'm with you on this. I think this absolutely helps Sheduer right now. In the way that Deion's kind of been talking, I don't care where he goes now.
Mm-hmm.
Where before we were hearing, you better believe if he's going somewhere that I don't want him to go, we're gonna have a problem with that. We're gonna step in and intervene, and you don't hear any of that anymore. So those are all good signs for Sheduer.
Okay. I like I said, I think it depends on who drafts Shador. I think if he ends up going number 2 to Cleveland, you're going to have Deion Sanders lurking in the shadows in Cleveland. I think Stefanski's on a tight rope. He's on a short leash. They got to get this right. They gave all this money to Deshaun Watson, who hasn't worked out. They've brought in, the who's who of the patchwork quarterbacks, Joe Flacco, Jameis Winston, to try to right the ship. I think that if he goes to Cleveland, Deion Sanders isn't going to be far behind. I don't think it'll be in 2025, but it's not going to be any later than 2026. Now, if he goes to the Raiders, where you got Pete Carroll and you've got Geno and he could sit on the bench for a year and hold the clipboard and learn from one of the greatest coaches to ever do it. And against an NFL veteran quarterback who's he's seen everything, can learn a lot. That'd be a great situation for him. If he goes to the Giants again, I could see Deion lurking in the shadows. They're on tightrope, not as short a leash as Cleveland, but you've got they're on the clock. They need to get this turned around. Now they went out and got themselves some quarterbacks. They got Russell Wilson. They got Jameis Winston. They might not be looking to draft a quarterback because they went out and got some big name quarterbacks. They're not the quarterbacks that you're going to have for the long term, but they made it known that they are not in the hunt for one of these top guys, which I think is a mistake. I think that they should be looking to get Sheduer Sanders, or if they can, Cam Ward. I don't know. It all depends on where Sheduer gets drafted. It really does. I don't think he's going to go. Obviously, he's not going to go number one overall. Cam Ward's going to go number one. But where he ends up, if he ends up at number two and he ends up with Cleveland, I would be willing to put money. I would be willing to go to my DraftKings account and put money on Deion Sanders becoming head coach of the Cleveland Browns in 2026. That's how confident I am that would happen. I think it all depends. It really does. But I don't know. Is he projected? I've seen some reports where he's projected to go as high as number two. I've seen other reports where he's not. I don't know. It all depends on where he goes. Let me look at the NFL draft order real fast. Probably should have had this pulled up before. So you got Tennessee 1, Cleveland 2. If he doesn't go to Cleveland, he's not going to go to the Giants. He's not going to go to New England. And he's not going to go to Jacksonville because they all have their quarterbacks. He could go to the Giants, but probably not. The Raiders, the Jets, those are the teams you could see taking a flyer on Sheduer. And like I said, you won't see Deion Sanders looking over the shoulder of the guy whose name I can't think of, the Raiders head coach, Pete Carroll. The Jets, they're new coaching staff. They're year one. But it's also the Jets. You never know with that team. Carolina, I don't think they're going to take them. New Orleans could be a spot. And then you're looking at teams like Chicago, San Francisco, Dallas. I mean, if he drops to 12 at Dallas, I don't think he's going to drop that low. I don't think. Let's just keep it in the top 10. Cleveland, Las Vegas, the Jets, New Orleans. Those are the teams that he's not going to go past New Orleans. That's for sure. Most people think he's not going to get past Cleveland. But if he does, I don't know. It all depends on where he goes. If he goes to Cleveland, you're going to see Deion Sanders head coaching the Cleveland Browns in 2026. That's my prediction. If he goes to the Raiders, probably not. Probably not. If he goes to the Jets, more of a chance than the Raiders, but also probably not. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see Deion Sanders coach an NFL team? Do you want to see him coach his son? I think it'd be dope as hell. I think it'd be really cool to see him on the sidelines in the NFL coaching his son. Ride or die with Deion and Sheduer. It would be awesome. It would be must-see TV. It would be bigger than Taylor Swift. Well, maybe not that big, but it would be huge. Let me know in the comments below what you think. And yeah, thanks for watching. And I don't know, go Guardians. Although I have a Blue Jays hat on, but I'm pulling for the Guardians in this game. In case you didn't realize. Okay, thanks. Peace.